I'll look at the camera to say hello, and then I'm going to look at my trading screen if you don't mind. This is Ilan Azbel. How are you? You can see it's so early in the morning for me. It's 5 a.m. here in Austin, Texas. Sorry, I'm just a few minutes late. Looks like there was a bit of a mix-up with the time zones. Wherever you are in the morning, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are, and obviously excuse the casual setting. It's 5 a.m. and I'm at home, obviously due to Corona and COVID, and I guess that leads me straight into the reason for this broadcast, right? Is with all the market volatility that's been going on. I'm sure that a ton of you are either making a ton of money or losing a ton of money, right? And so this presentation is all about how to manage your risk, okay, in the currency market, especially given the current volatility that's going on, right? So I've got my MetaTrader screen open, obviously, as you can see, and let me actually change my chart to something other than Nasdaq 100. Give me a moment to just find all my all the correct indicators. Okay, cool. So massive volatility, obviously, as I was saying, and so what I find before I open the risk calculator, what I find in the market is that traders are traders try to manage their risk in a slightly weird way, right? They try to manage their risk in a way that makes sense to them, but doesn't really make sense from an actual trading perspective. And let me show you what I mean. So let's just say that I'm trading an hourly chart, right, on Euro USD, and I want to, let's say the trend is short, going short right now, and I want to set a short position at the spot price. Now I want to set a stop loss level, okay, and so I want to set a stop loss level, and the current price is 112.039, and I want to set a stop loss level of of maybe 20 pips or 30 pips. So what happens is that the person actually, the traders, kind of sets their stop loss level at the amount of money that well, really at 10 pips or 20 pips or whatever it is. But as you can see, if I want to set my stop loss level at just a few pips of potential loss, it doesn't necessarily make sense from the volatility of the instrument, right? You can see that in this situation, the instrument is very, very capable of swinging 10 pips, 20 pips up and down, without a problem. And a lot of traders get knocked out due to market volatility, right? Which is not what you want to do. What you want to try and do when trading is set your stop loss so that it's in line with market volatility. So, for example, if you were going short right now, where I would set my stop loss is around this level over here with a red line, because that's where the previous, let's say the previous turning point is, right? The market. So what you're doing, if you go short, you're giving yourself enough room to go up and down, right? Let's say if you were going long, let's say you were a swing trader and you were going long, now you might say, okay, I want to go long. Where should be my stop loss? Again, you might look at these levels over here that I've drawn, because again, what you can see is you can see kind of past volatility or turning points happening at that level, right? So you should be setting your stop losses really in accordance to where the market could possibly go, not according to how much money you're willing to lose. Now, before I carry on, let you ponder that for a moment. I'm going to have my a sip of espresso from my beautiful little cup that I picked up in Cancun, Mexico last year. Excuse me. Let me have a sip of that. Mm, okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Nectar of the gods, not beer, it's coffee. Um, so, what we're now you might be thinking, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? I mean, how can I set my stop loss so far away? It's up here or down here, right? This is more money than I can lose. Well, let me tell you what professional traders do. They, again, set their stop loss levels according to the market volatility, right? Where they think the price could go, but they adjust their trading volume, right, based on how much money they're going to lose. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds hellishly complicated. But if you go onto the navigator window in your MetaTrader, you'll see that there's an Autochartist risk calculator indicator there. And what you can do is you can drag and drop that onto your chart, and I'll show you what happens in just a moment. If I can just find my stop loss level, there it is. Okay, when that happens, you'll actually see a little window come up, and you'll also see this orange line come up, right? And this is your stop loss level. So what this tells you, the stop loss level actually, if you, let's say, set it, let's just go for the initial example I had before, and I want to go short, right? So if I want to go short and I want to set my stop loss at this price over here, 112.45, and I am willing to risk $100 on my position, right? This is what this little indicator is saying over here, $100. Then it's telling me, the risk calculator telling me that my position size should be 0.2 lots. What does that mean? If I go new order and I want to set my stop loss at this level over here, stop loss, and I want to only risk $100, I would set my position to be 0.2. Okay, and then I would click sell. Right, I don't have enough. Oh, trading is disabled on my account. Right, I can't actually trade on this account. But now you understand what I'm trying to say, right? So let me just circle that for you using the drawing tool. You can see the volume here is 0.2 and the volume here is 0.2. So in this scenario, what would happen? I was trying to go short, but if the price went up to this level, despite the fact that this price, this stop level is, well, a ton of pips away. I can't even see. My eyes are not good enough to see how small that font is, but it's an absolutely fortune of pips, right? Oh, actually, here it is. It's 36 pips, right? Which is a massive move in the wrong direction. I would still only risk $100. Okay? So let that sink in. Let all of that sink in. I'm going to erase all my drawing tools and I'm going to try this again. So normally what I would do is I would say, oh, I only want to risk $100. This is where my stop loss should be set, right? Like at about 10 pips, right? So if I was going short, but this might not be the right stop level, okay? So again, I'm setting my stop level where it's supposed to be, and then I'm using the volume indicator to calculate how much actual volume to set on my position. Now, the other thing you might be thinking is, oh, but this is really easy to calculate. Why do I need a tool for this? Because obviously Euro USD, every pip is worth $10, right? So, or well, $1 if you're using a mini account, or right. So on a standard account, it's $10 a pip. So it's easy. 36 pips away, and or 37 pips away, and you know, that's $10 a pip. That's 370. Only want to lose 100. Divide that by 4 or 5, whatever it is. It gives me 0.2. Easy to calculate, right? But now, what happens if you don't use Euro USD? What if we use something? What if you want to trade something more obscure? Okay, let's say USD CAD. Okay, USD CAD is not $10 a pip, right? USD CAD is definitely not $10 a pip, right? So now, let's say USD CAD, I want to go short. If I want to go short, I certainly don't want to set my stop loss level at this point over here, right? Because it's only 14 pips, I'm going to get knocked out due to noise. And there's nothing worse than getting knocked out due to noise. What I would do if I was going short, I would maybe look at this point over here, right? This level here to go short, right, as my stop loss. Okay, so if I wanted to go short right now, what I would be doing is obviously setting how much risk I want to, how much money I want to risk. So let's say $100, or let's say I only want to risk $10 on this position, right? Then it would tell me my volume should be 0.02. So if I place a new order, right, and I want to go short and set my stop loss to that level, and then I should set my stop loss to be 0.02, right? And then I would click sell. But that's not the only thing that you might be trading, right? I mean, you could be trading something really obscure where you don't actually know how much every pip costs. Let's look at, I don't know, choose something really difficult. GBPJPY. Okay. I hope the system recognizes this R as suffix. It should. Let's drop that on there. Okay, let's see where this level is. Okay, GBPJPY. Even experienced traders like me cannot work out how much a pip is worth on GBPJPY just off the top of my head. Okay, it would take me a few minutes and a pen and a piece of paper to look at it, and I'd need the cross rates for pound yen and USD yen to actually work it out. But here, this calculator works it out immediately for you, right? So what you're doing is, let's look at an example. This time, let's say I want to go long. Now, some of you might look at this thing and say, okay, I want to set my risk 20 pips away, because 20 pips is a big movement. That's, you know, over $100 of loss, potential loss on a standard account. This is where I want to set my stop loss if I want to go long. But if you go long on GBPJPY and set your stop loss 20 pips away, you're guaranteed to hit it, right? Even at low volatility periods. GBPJPY is the killer of all traders, right? You're going to go long and you're going to get knocked out of the market within 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to find a reasonable place to set your stop loss, right? So for example, I see a consolidation level, a bit of a consolidation level over here. So this is potentially where I would set my stop loss, okay? And so then my question is, how much money do I actually risk? So if I want to risk, let's say $20 on this position, that's a bit of a weird one. Let's say I want to risk $50 on this position, then again, it tells me what my volume should be. Okay, so I actually wish that I could actually trade on this account. Unfortunately, I haven't been given a live account I can trade on. But what you'll see will end up happening is that you can, using this risk calculator, you can actually trade 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute, hourly, daily charts, weekly charts. Set your stop losses based on the amount of capital that you're willing to risk, okay, and trade across all those time frames, and all your positions will only have a risk, will pretty much be guaranteed of only risking the amount of capital that you put in here, obviously given certain parameters, for example, market slippage, or, you know, big market gaps. You know, obviously your stop losses won't get hit, but essentially you're only risking the amount of capital you set into the risk calculator, right? Now, one question I get asked often, which I want to point out, is that this live account that I have over here is based in, it's an Australian dollar account, right? So you can see that my account matches what's shown in the risk calculator. Now, obviously, if you have a euro account, you'll see euros. If you have a US dollar account, it'll be US dollars, right? So the risk calculator will always work out the risk in the currency of your account, which is quite a handy thing. I see a lot of very interesting a lot of interesting questions coming up, and I will deal with them in just a moment. Okay, once I have my last sip of espresso, which means my CPU will start running at almost 100%. Okay, so before I start answering the questions, I want to deal with one or two more advanced topics. Well, actually, one specifically more advanced topics, and that is some of you might be, let's say, more mature in your trading experience, and you might not be reactive in your position taking, which means you're not trading the spot price. You're trading, let's say, some kind of stop or limit orders. In which case, this calculator can help you too. All you do is you tick this little icon here called Custom Entry Price. And when you click on Custom Entry Price, you will see that a green line appears, right? So now, what will happen is that if you're using this little green line, let's just say we want to place a sell limit on GBPJPY. Sell limit, for those of you who are not aware, a sell limit is where let me draw a drawing object. The price goes up, crosses that line, and if it touches that line, the system will automatically go short for you. Okay, so so you're not taking a position right now on GBPJPY, taking a sell limit. So the green line is where you want the system to take a short position for you. Now in this situation, how do we work out the risk? So what will happen if you click on Custom Entry Price? The Autochartist risk calculator works out the risk not between the current spot price and the orange line. It'll calculate it between your green line and orange line, right? So in this situation, 94 pips is the difference between the green line and the orange line, right? The 94 pips that's listed. Okay, so now the volume here. Let me use my drawing object again. My volume here is based on this difference here, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense to everyone. If you're using a stop and limit or orders, you know that should make sense to you. Again, let's say we're using, let's say we're going to use a sell stop order, right? A sell stop meaning, for those of you who don't know, I'll explain it now. Let's give it a moment. A sell stop means that we're not taking a short position right now. We're waiting for the price to cross this line. And then once it crosses this line, then it would go short. Okay? So in this situation, you can set the green line where you want the entry to be. And then you set your orange line where you want the stop loss to be, right? So maybe at the stop loss at the current spot level. But again, the volume that's shown over here is based on this difference, okay, on the difference between the entry price and the stop level price. Okay. Another question that I often get asked is why don't you can't trade directly off the risk calculator? We decided not to add that buy and sell buttons into the risk calculator. There has been talk about it, but you do have to actually click the order button and then set your your volume, your stop levels, whatever it happens to be, and click buy and sell, right? So we still depend on the MetaTrader built-in order functionality in order to place the actual order in the market, right, or the pending order, whatever it happens to be. Okay. So Anthony, to answer your question, because yours is a quick one, absolutely. The risk calculator works on all the other instruments, so it should. If it doesn't, I've got someone to talk to get it working. But here's, for example, UK 100. There it is over there. There's your risk calculator. You can see your stop level coming up or down, and I do believe that it works on shares. Let's try add VW in there. What's actually moving right now? Let's wait for some updates. Oh, here we go. Allianz is moving a little bit. Let's see. There is the risk calculator for Allianz. So as you can see, yes, it does. Although, right, I mean, when trading shares, there uh, obviously it adds value because your account is not in US dollars and or in euros, and the actual instruments are priced in euros and US dollars, right? So it is obviously does add a little bit of value. But for example, I don't see anything that's, for example, listed in Japan here, right? So there's no, I don't think Japanese stocks, right, or any other strange currency pairs. So mostly euro and USD based stocks, right? So so the calculations are slightly easier with those if you had to do them manually. Okay. So the next topic that I wanted to talk about is this thing called show expected trading ranges. Oh, and it looks like I'm having a bit of an error. I might not have that data. Let's quickly see what's going on. Oh, I don't have that data. That's a bit strange. Okay, give me a second, everyone. I want to see why I'm not getting my expected trading range information showing on my graph. Oh, I definitely have the expected trading ranges. I wonder why I'm not actually seeing it. Okay, that's interesting. It's okay. We can achieve the same thing just by having the Autochartist indicator there. I'm sorry for that. Some obviously some technical issue. But pretty much the same thing that I'm showing you right now. When you click the expected trading ranges, oh, that's so strange. They were showing before, but not now. That's the most peculiar thing ever. Okay, so dealing with technical issues, let's try to do my best to get those. So ignore the fact that I'm putting the Autochartist indicator on the chart to get those lines on the right-hand side. I'm just going to minimize it as if it's not there, and then I'm going to put my Autochartist risk calculator on here and act as if they came up because I ticked the show expected trading ranges icon. Okay, what the expected trading ranges are is a view on what kind of volatility you can expect on that instrument in the next hour, 4 hours, and 24 hours, right? So as you are well aware, the U.S. markets are still, say, 2.5 hours away from being really, really volatile. So right now, we're expecting for the next hour, Euro USD to trade within that price range, and in the next 4 hours to trade within this price range, and in the next 24 hours to trade in this price range over here. But obviously, as you start moving into the US session, right, what you are going to see is you're going to see this hourly range expanding quite dramatically. Right? So you're going to start seeing it increase in size. So these expected trading ranges are there to give you an indication of the kind of volatility you can expect. Now, it's quite interesting to use them in conjunction, well, in the risk calculator. Obviously, that's why we put the expected trading ranges checkbox here. Oh, and I made that mistake again. Oh, I can't believe I just unchecked that. Sorry, everyone. We'll get that error looked at, obviously, ASAP. I'm sure it's some minor glitch. Let me just put that back on there. So that's why we put this little checkbox over here, right? Because what we can see now is, let's say this is back to the same example we were using before in Euro USD. let's say I want to go short on Euro USD right now, and I set my stop loss up at 112.45. The expected trading ranges is showing me that if the stop loss is going to be hit, it's within the next 4 hours, right? So it shows me approximately what my expected trading time is on my stop loss side, right? I mean, I guess if you're setting a take profit, it would show you the equivalent on the take profit side, right? Obviously, so let's just take a drawing tool here. If let's say you set your take profit level somewhere over here, then you would say, okay, well, if my stop loss hits, it's somewhere in the next 4 hours. If my take profit hits, it's somewhere between 4 hours and 24 hours, right? But keep in mind that that obviously these numbers fluctuate up, kind of open and close as the time of day goes by. But I will tell you that primarily it's the 4-hour volatility that changes. Obviously, the daily volatility that's shown right now and the 4-hourly volatility takes into account the fact that the US markets are going to be opening in the next few hours, right? So what I expect to happen in the next kind of 2 to 3 hours, specifically on euro, is that only the hourly expected price range is going to increase. The 4-hourly and the daily are probably going to remain very much the same, kind of just move up and down within the same range with the current spot price. Okay. So, wow, I've been talking for 25 minutes solid. That was pretty intense. I wonder if I can have a look at some of the questions that are coming up. All right. Trading ranges, I dealt with that one. Yes, it works on instruments. Is the risk calculator available to all FP market clients? Yes, I believe it is. I believe it's available to. I do believe you need a live account though, but contact FP Markets to find out if there's any hurdles. But I do believe it's open for a live funded account. There's a question here from GP, and I don't quite understand it. How do you account for margin in the risk risk management? Okay, so right, that's a great question, and the answer is we don't account for margin. Well, I mean, it depends on how much margin you want to risk, but your margin requirements are based obviously on your agreement with a broker, right? Sometimes that's done at broker as a whole. Sometimes a broker, let's say if you let's say if you deposit $1,000 or $5,000, for brokers these are relatively small amounts. You probably won't be able to negotiate your own margin, custom margin. You would fit within the general policy of the broker. If you deposit $500,000 with a broker, then you can probably have a conversation with a broker to discuss your margin requirements. Okay, so they wouldn't set their margin requirement, let's say at 50%, but at 20% or something like this, right? So every trader's margin is different, and so in the risk calculator we don't take into account margin. So given that example, you can see my balance is $100, and I'm risking hypothetically $100. Obviously I can't trade this, right? I won't have enough margin to trade that, right? So in this scenario, I might only be able to set risk $10, right? But the numbers become really small from a volume perspective, and that's not what I wanted to show you. Right. But the long story short, in terms of your answer, the answer is we don't take margin requirements into account at the risk calculator. It's up to you as a trader to make sure that the amount of capital that you're risking is within your margin requirements that the broker has specified for your account. Farouk, I hope I've ex said that name correctly. Yes, it does work for indices. I did answer that question slightly earlier. Yeah, it absolutely works for indices and stocks. Okay, and so with that, I think I have given you a lot of information. I am really, really hoping that in these crazy disease-filled, virus-filled world and crazy volatility, I'm hoping that the people listening to me today would have maybe hopefully saved their account and uh, helped themselves last a little longer in volatile times. So please do use the Autochartist risk calculator, and I'll see you at the next webinar. Have a nice day.